Single dad crashes job interview for woman, only to find out she's the CEO. What happens when an unemployed single dad runs late for a crucial job interview to help a stranger with her heel stuck in a storm drain? How one act of kindness on a rainy day sets off a chain of events that turns a desperate job search into unexpected love, and a simple job interview into a meeting with his future wife. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where in the world you're watching from today. Diego Morales woke up at 6:30 in the morning to the sound of his alarm clock and immediately felt his stomach clench with nerves. Today was a Innovación Digital interview. His last hope of finding a job after 3 months of no success. "Are you nervous, Dad?" asked 8-year-old Sofia, peeking into his room in her pink unicorn pajamas. "No, princess, but everything will be fine. You will get this job, I know it." Quote, the girl said seriously. "You are the smartest dad in the world." Diego smiled, hugging his daughter. Sofia was his only reason to get up every morning and keep fighting. After the death of his wife Carolina 2 years ago, they were left alone, and he vowed to give his daughter the best. "Go have breakfast, baby. Senora Rosa is already waiting for you." Rosa, their elderly neighbor, agreed to look after Sofia while Diego was at an interview. The money was almost gone. There was a month's rent left for the apartment and no more food. Diego put on his only business suit, a dark blue one, which he bought 5 years ago for a friend's wedding. He washed and ironed his shirt, polished his shoes. In the mirror, he saw a 32-year-old man with tired eyes, but a determined expression on his face. Innovación Digital was one of the most successful DIDLA agencies in Mexico City. Diego studied all the information about the company, prepared a presentation of his ideas for their clients. He had a master's degree in marketing and 5 years of experience, but the last company closed due to the crisis. "Daddy, good luck," Sofia shouted as he left the house. "See you tonight, princess." On the street, Diego realized that the weather decided to test him further. Gray clouds covered the sky, and the first drops of rain were already starting to fall. It was a 40-minute walk to the company's office. There was no money for a taxi. The rain was getting stronger with each passing minute. By the time Diego reached the business center in the Santa Fe district, it was already a real downpour. He clutched a folder with documents to his chest, trying to protect it from the water. There were 5 minutes left before the appointed time, when he saw her. A woman in an elegant gray suit and high heels was standing at the sidewalk and was clearly in a difficult situation. Her right heel was stuck in the metal grate of the storm drain, and the rain mercilessly poured down from above. "Damn!" Diego heard her angry exclamation. The woman tried to free her foot, but the heel sat tightly. She was getting wet, and her carefully styled hair was already stuck to her face. Diego stopped. He had 4 minutes before the interview. If he helped, he would definitely be late. But he couldn't leave the woman in trouble. "Excuse me," he said, approaching her, "do you need help?" The woman raised her head. Even in the rain, he noticed that she was beautiful, with expressive brown eyes and regular features. She looked about 35. "Yes, please. The heel is stuck. I can't free it." "We'll try now." Diego squatted down, not paying attention to the fact that his trousers were getting wet. The heel really sat tightly in the cell of the grate. "Try turning your foot a little to the left," he said, carefully holding the heel. "Okay, yeah, almost there. It's done." The heel came free so abruptly that the woman almost fell. Diego managed to catch her by the elbow. Quote, "Careful." "Thank you," she sighed with relief. "You saved me." "No way. Now excuse me, I have to run." Diego looked at his watch. 3 minutes late, plus he was soaking wet, and there were now dirty spots from the asphalt on the knees of his trousers. Quote, "Wait," the woman called out to him. "What is your name?" "Diego. Diego Morales." "And I'm Elena?" "Thank you very much, Diego. Not everyone would stop in such weather." "Goodbye, Elena." He ran to the entrance to the business center. In the elevator, he tried to tidy himself up, wiped his face with a handkerchief, fixed his hair, but the wetsuit was still there. On the 21st floor, there was an office and a Innovación Digital. Diego took a deep breath and knocked on the reception desk. Diego Morales for an interview, he said to the secretary. Come into the conference room. Senora Vasqui is waiting for you. Quote, Diego entered a spacious room with panoramic windows and a large table. A woman was sitting at the table with her back to him, talking on the phone. Okay, reschedule the meeting for an hour, she said and turned around. Diego and Elena recognized each other at the same time. For a second, there was silence in the room. Well, Elena smiled. What a small world. You are the head of the company? Yes. Elena Vasquez, CEO and Novation Digital. And you, it turns out, are Diego Morales, who wants to work for us. Excuse my appearance, Diego said embarrassedly. It's raining. I know about the rain and I know that you were 5 minutes late because you helped a stranger. This is not an excuse. On the contrary, it is a characteristic. Sit down, please. Quote, Diego sat down at the table, feeling awkward because of his wet suit. Tell us about yourself, Elena asked. I am 32 years old, a master of marketing, 5 years of experience in digital promotion. For the last 3 months I have been looking for a job after the closure of my previous company. Family, 8-year-old daughter, wife died 2 years ago. Quote, Elena's voice took on a softer tone. I am very sorry. Thank you. Sophia is the meaning of my life. I am ready to work as much as it takes to ensure her future. What can you offer our company? Diego took his presentation out of the folder. Luckily, the documents were not damaged by the rain. I studied your clients and prepared several ideas. For example, for the restaurant chain Sabor Mexicana, online sales can be increased by 30% in 6 months. He outlined his strategy in detail. Elena listened attentively, occasionally asking clarifying questions. Interesting approach, she said when he finished. Why our company? Because you work not only with large corporations, but also with small businesses. It is important for me to help people develop their businesses. Quote, and one more question. What was the hardest thing in your life? Diego thought about it. Losing my wife. I had to learn to be both a dad and a mom at the same time. But Sophia made me stronger. I see. Elena stood up. Thank you for an interesting interview. We will contact you tomorrow. Goodbye. And thanks again for your understanding. Diego felt unsure on the way out. The interview had gone strange. Too many personal questions, too few specifics about the work. Sophia was waiting for him at home with 1,000 questions. Dad, how did they take you? I don't know yet, princess. They'll tell you tomorrow. And your aunt was beautiful. What aunt? Well, the one who talked to you about work. Sophia, it was a serious business interview, but beautiful. Diego smiled. His daughter always felt more than she said. Yes, beautiful. So they'll take you, Sophia concluded happily. In the evening, when his daughter was sleeping, Diego looked out the window at the rainy city for a long time. The day had been full of surprises, but the main thing was that he had done everything he could. The rest did not depend on him, and in a luxurious apartment in the Palanca district, Elena Vasquez couldn't fall asleep either. Thoughts about an unusual candidate who had sacrificed his chances to help a stranger were spinning in her head. I wonder, she whispered into the darkness. Tomorrow she will make a decision that will change the lives of both of them. Diego was awakened by the phone ringing at 9 o'clock in the morning. Sophia had already left for school, and he was left alone with his nerves and a cup of coffee. Diego Morales, speaking. Good morning, this is Elena Vasquez. I have good news for you. His heart jumped. I am listening. We would like to offer you the position of senior marketer. Salary 40,000 pesos per month. Full benefits package. Possibility of career advancement. Diego could not believe his ears. 40,000 was twice what he had expected. Senora Vasquez, I accept the offer. Thank you. Excellent. We will expect you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Maria from HR will prepare the documents. Thanks again. Goodbye. Diego hung up and shouted with joy so loudly that the neighbors must have heard. Then he immediately called Rosa. Senora Rosa, tell Sophia that Daddy has work. That evening, he and his daughter celebrated at a pizzeria. For the first time in 3 months, they allowed themselves to eat out. Daddy, I told you that the pretty aunt would take you, Sophia said triumphantly, gobbling up a margarita pizza. It's a business decision, princess. Of course, the girl smiled slyly. The first day at Innovation Digital was spent getting to know the team and studying current projects. Diego immediately realized that the company was well organized, but used outdated approaches to marketing. Elena appeared in his office in the afternoon. What was your impression? A great team, interesting projects. I already have several ideas for optimization. For example, the client, the Mexicana Cathedral, is losing its audience because their advertising does not take into account age groups. If you segment your advertising campaigns, you can increase conversion by 25%. Elena listened carefully to his proposal. Go for it. You have complete freedom within your budget. As she left, she turned around at the door. By the way, Diego, what is your daughter's hobby? Sophia, she loves to draw and dreams of learning how to program. I see. Have a nice day. Diego was surprised by the personal question, but quickly forgot about it, immersed in work. In 2 weeks, his strategy for the Mexicana Cathedral brought the first results. Sales increased by 18%. Colleagues began to treat him with respect. Diego, his project manager Carlos called. We have a problem with a company for the Bank of Progress. Can you take a look? Quote, of course. Diego studied the materials and realized that the advertising of banking services was too formal, did not evoke an emotional response. You need to show not the product, but the result, he explained to the team. Not a profitable loan, but the house of your dreams. Not a savings account, but a calm future for children. Quote, the new company increased the number of applications to the bank by 30%. On Friday afternoon, Elena came into his office with an unusual offer. Diego, we have a children's programming masterclass for company employees on Saturday. Do you want to bring Sophia? Programming, but she is still little. 8 years is a great age to start. We teach the course with programmers. Everything is in a playful way. And how much does it cost? It's free for employees' children. Diego hesitated. On the one hand, Sophia would be delighted. On the other hand, he didn't want to mix work and personal relationships. Think about it, Elena said. If you decide to start at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, Sophia was jumping with delight. Dad, I'll be a programmer, like in the movies about hackers. The princess is just an introduction to computers. Anyway, the beautiful Senora will be there. Safia, her name is Senora Vasquez, and she is my boss. But beautiful? Yes, beautiful. Elena met them in the office in jeans and a t-shirt, not at all like a strict boss. Sophia immediately took a liking to her. Hello, my name is Sophia, and you? My name is Elena. It's very nice to meet you. Sophia. Dad says that you are very smart and beautiful. Diego blushed. Sophia. Is it true? Elena laughed. Come, I'll show you how computers understand our commands. Diego spent the next 3 hours watching Elena patiently explain the basics of programming to the children. She was completely different, not a cold businesswoman, but a warm, understanding woman. Sophia quickly mastered the basic commands and created a simple animation of a dancing cat. Daddy, look, she proudly showed off her project. I'm a programmer. Well done, princess. And Senora Elena said that I have talent. Isn't that right, Senora? True, Elena smiled. Sophia is a very capable girl. After class, when the others had left, Sophia approached Elena. Senora, can I ask you a personal question? Of course. Do you have children? Elena's face became sad for a moment. No, Sophie, no children. Why not? You're such a good girl. Safi gently pulled Diego's daughter up. It's okay, Elena said. Sometimes life turns out differently. Do you know what? Sophia said seriously. I think you would be a wonderful mother. Tears glistened in Elena's eyes, but she quickly pulled herself together. Thank you, Sophia. This is the most beautiful compliment I have ever received. On the way home, Sophia kept chatting. Dad, Senora Elena is so kind and smart and beautiful. And she is also sad. Why do you think so? When I asked about children, she became sad. She probably really wants kids, but she doesn't have any. Diego was surprised by his daughter's insight. Indeed, there was something lonely in Elena, despite her success and confidence. On Monday morning, Elena came into his office. How is Sophia? Did you like the masterclass? She was delighted. She talked about programming and you all weekend. She said about me that you are kind and smart. And also that you would be a wonderful mother. Elena turned to the window. Children have special vision. They see what adults hide. Elena, Senora Vasquez, can I ask you a personal question? Yes. Have you ever wanted a family? She was silent for a long time. I wanted to, but my career, my ambitions. I thought I would have time later, but now I'm 36. And I understand, the train has left. 36 is not the end of life. For a woman in my position, almost. Who would want to build a relationship with a workaholic who lives only for work? Diego looked at her carefully. At that moment, she was not a boss, but simply a woman who was afraid to be alone. I think many men dream of a woman like you. Thank you, Elena said quietly. I have to go to a meeting. Diego thought about this conversation for the rest of the day. Gradually, he began to understand that something more than a work relationship was developing between them. And in the evening, Sophia asked him point blank, Dad, do you like Senora Elena? As a manager? No, as a woman. Diego understood that his daughter, as always, felt more than adults. Yes, Sophie, I do. And she likes you. I saw the way she looks at you. Sophia, don't make things up. Dad, I'm not blind. And I also think Mom would approve. Why do you think so? Because Mom wanted us to be happy, and with a beautiful Senora, we will be happy. Diego hugged his daughter. Sometimes children understand life better than adults. A month and a half had passed since Diego started working at Vinovacion Digital. His projects brought the company significant profits. His colleagues respected him, and Sophia looked forward to the Saturday programming classes that had become regular. Elena and Diego increasingly stayed late in the office, discussing client development strategies. There was a growing attraction between them, which they both tried to ignore. Diego, Elena said one evening when they were alone in the office. I want to talk to you about a promotion. A promotion? You have exceeded all expectations. I am thinking about the position of head of marketing. Elena, I've only been here for a month and a half, and in that time you've increased the company's profits by 22%. The results speak for themselves. Diego felt both embarrassed and proud. Thank you for your trust. Trust must be earned, and you've earned it. Their eyes met, and the air was tense. Elena took a step forward, but at that moment the phone rang. Sorry, she said, answering the call. Yes, Mom, I remember about Sunday dinner. The moment was ruined. The next day, Elena called in private Detective Ricardo Santos, a man she sometimes used to check out potential partners for the company. Quote, I need complete information about Diego Morales, she said. Everything you can find. Quote, a routine candidate check. Yes, when planning a promotion, you need to make sure there are no hidden problems. But it was a lie. In fact, Elena wanted to understand the man for whom she had increasingly strong feelings. Ricardo worked quickly and professionally. 3 days later, he brought a detailed dossier. Diego Morales, 32 years old, he read out the report. Born in Guadalajara, graduated from university with honors. Married Carolina Hernandez 7 years ago. Elena listened attentively, looking at the photographs. Carolina was a beautiful young woman with kind eyes. What happened to his wife? Cancer. The treatment lasted a year and a half. The family spent all their savings on expensive therapy. Carolina died 2 years ago. Financial situation. After the death of his wife, only debts remained. Diego sold the house, the car, everything of value. For the past 2 years he has been living in a rented apartment, barely making ends meet. Why did he look for a job for so long? The previous company closed due to bankruptcy. Diego had turned down many offers because they required business trips, and he didn't want to leave his daughter for long. Elena studied the documents with growing admiration. This man had sacrificed everything for his wife and daughter. Anything negative? Nothing. A perfect reputation. His colleagues described him as an honest professional and a devoted father. Thank you, Ricardo. That's all. Alone, Elena looked for a long time at the photos of Diego's happy family. Now she understood where that hidden sadness in his eyes came from, but she hadn't taken one thing into account. In the small world of digital marketing, information travels fast. The following week, Diego's colleague Pablo approached him. Diego, did you know that they've ordered an investigation into you? What investigation? Private Detective Ricardo Santos has been asking our mutual friends about you. He says it's an order from Innovación Digital. Diego felt his blood run cold. Are you sure? Absolutely. Juan from the media group told him. The detective was interested in your past, finances, family. Diego couldn't concentrate on his work for the rest of the day. By evening, he decided to go to Elena for an explanation. Can we talk? Sure. Come out. Elena, I found out that you ordered an audit on me. Elena's face turned pale. Diego, can I explain? Explain. This is standard procedure when promoting employees. Standard. You checked my financial situation, the death of my wife, debts. I had to make sure of what? That I was not a fraud or that I was desperate enough to agree to any conditions. No, not that at all. Then what? Diego's voice was getting colder and colder. You found out that I spent all the money on my wife's treatment, that I sold the house and the car, that Sophia and I live on pennies. Diego, listen, now I understand why you hired me. Not because of my professionalism, but out of pity. A poor widower with a child is an excellent object for charity. It is not so. And the Saturday class for I feel sorry for Sophia too. No, I was genuinely attached to her. Attached to the poor motherless girl. How touching. Elena stood up from the table. Diego, you're wrong. Yes, I ordered the check, but not out of distrust of you. Then why? Because I'm in love with you, she cried out. Silence fell in the office. In love? Diego asked again, and they decided to study the object of their passion as if under a microscope. I wanted to understand how much I needed your help, how desperately I would cling to this job. No, I wanted to learn about the man I fell in love with. You know what, Elena? If you really loved me, you would have asked me everything directly, and not hired a detective. Diego, give me a chance to explain. There's nothing to explain. Everything is clear. A rich woman is having fun with a poor subordinate. It's mean. It's mean to violate privacy without permission. Diego headed off to the exit. Where are you going? To write a letter of resignation. Don't do anything stupid. The stupidity was that I believed in the sincerity of your feelings, Diego. But the door had already closed. At home, Sophia immediately noticed that her father was upset. Dad, what happened? Nothing, princess, just tired. And where is Senora Elena? You always tell me what she said. I won't anymore. Why? Because we will no longer communicate with her. Sophia frowned. Did you quarrel? Something like that. But she was good. It turned out that she was not so good. Dad, will there be no Saturday lessons either? Sophia began to cry. But I wanted to learn programming. We'll find other courses. But I don't want others. I want Senora Elena to teach me. Diego hugged his daughter, feeling guilty. Sophia had become attached to Elena, and now, because of his pride, she would lose another important person. But the principle was more important. He would not allow anyone, even beloved woman, to study his life without permission. He wrote a letter of resignation that same night. Sophia came to Elena's office and confessed that she saw her father's sadness. The wise girl told how her father spoke to her mother at the cemetery, that he had met an amazing woman, but was afraid to betray the memory of his wife. He said that his mother had allowed him to love again before she died, Sophia explained. Elena bought white roses, Carolina's favorite flowers, and came to their home to apologize. Diego, I came to apologize for breaking trust, she said. She ordered the check not out of mistrust, but out of love. She was afraid to ask directly. And I'm afraid to love again. It's too painful to lose, Diego admitted. I don't want to replace your wife. I want to be part of a new life. Sophia couldn't take it. You love each other, but you're naughty like children. Mom would be happy to see you happy. Diego and Elena realized the girl was right. They hugged and decided to try to build a relationship anew, but with complete honesty. No secrets, Diego said. Agreed, Elena answered. Chapter 5. Equality and Love. 6 months later, Diego became a key figure in the company. His projects brought in half the profits. Quote, Elena, I want to become a partner, not just an employee, he said over dinner. What are you offering? A share in the company for the results of my work and one more condition, marry me. Usually men propose, Elena laughed. And I have already proposed to you, she smiled. Yes, I agree. The wedding was modest, in the garden near Carolina's house. Sophia was a bridesmaid with a portrait of her mother on her chest. I promise to love you and be an equal partner, Elena said in her vows. And I will never hide the truth and build a happy family, Diego replied. A year later, the family lived in a new house. Sophia became seriously interested in programming, and the company became a market leader. Quote, I have 2 mothers, one on earth, one in heaven, the girl said. I am the happiest. The story that began with helping in the rain ended with the creation of a family based on love, trust, and equality. Sometimes chance meetings really do change destiny. 6 months later, Diego proposed business partnership to Elena. Quote, I want to share in the company. My projects bring in half the profits, and in return I become an equal partner. And marry me. Yes, Elena smiled, to both proposals. The wedding was modest. In the garden, Sophia was a bridesmaid with a portrait of Carolina's mother on her chest. Quote, I promise to love you and be an equal partner, Elena said. And I promise to trust you in everything and build a happy family, Diego replied. Now I have 2 mothers, one on earth, one in heaven. Sophia rejoiced. A year later, their company became a market leader. Sophia became interested in programming, and the family lived in a new house full of love and trust. The story that began with help in the rain ended with the creation of a family where success was measured not only by money, but also by mutual support.